Welcome to the TRiO Talks podcast. Today is November the 12th, 2019, and it is 2:15 p.m. And we are going to talk about the value of using career services during your tenure or your college career. So I'd like to welcome some special guests. I'll let them introduce themselves.
My name is Junior Turner. Is this working?
Yeah, it's on. It's up here.
Okay. My name is Junior Turner, and I am the Associate Director in Career Development, which is in University Career Services.
Hi, everybody. My name's Lynn Knapp. I'm the Senior Director for the Center for Professional Development and Career Strategies at the Law School here at Georgia State.
Well, thank you for those introductions. Could you tell us a little bit about what you guys' offices does? I know some of you think you know what career services does, but some of us are unaware what services career services offer.
Okay, so we are University Career Services, which means we offer career services to all students. It doesn't matter what your major is. So we have 3 offices comprised of University Career Services. So the first office is Career Development. In Career Development, we do choosing a major. We do mock interviews, and that's not just for job interviews, but we help do for graduate school mock interviews. We also help with job search. We help with personal statements for graduate school planning. Anything, like I said, career related is what career counseling is what we do in career development. And then we have what's called employer relations. They handle the career fairs, the part-time job fair. They have what's called Who What Wednesday on, not every Wednesday, but I think it's every other Wednesday. They have employers come on campus to recruit students. It's a great tool for you to use to network with these employers, to learn about what they are searching for in candidates. You can let them look at your resume. This is just a great resource for you to utilize. And then we have our co-op and internship office, and they help with all co-op and internship needs that you may have. And they are located in Dahlberg Hall, and the other 2 offices were located in Student Center West on the same floor as the movie theater.
So we do similar to that, but we do it all in one office. So we teach a mandatory first-year professional development class. All of our first-year students, we teach them first and second semester. In that class, we go over resumes, cover letters, informational interviews, elevator pitches. We talk about interview skills, behavioral interviews, standard interviews, how to network. We're actually hosting a networking event this afternoon for law school students. We've got over 80 employers coming, and it's going to be 5-minute interviews or meetings, really hardcore, getting that elevator pitch down. There's a cowbell involved. It's hard to take yourself too seriously when you're doing that, but it gets you over that kind of the nerves of interviewing. We do a lot of job fairs. We do on-campus interviews as well as host a number of off-campus events, and we do a significant amount of employer outreach. I probably do 2 to 5 events a week of employer outreach, bringing in new employers to the law school.
All right, thanks for that. So, by show of hands, how many have been to career services on this campus this semester? So we got a couple hands, not a lot, but we got a couple. How often do you think you should use career services? And I'm going to ask y'all first, and then I'm going to ask them what they think.
Definitely a few times a semester.
A few times. Why?
Mock interview, resumes, photos, and stuff like that. Just kind of updating everything.
2 to 3 times a month.
2 to 3 times a month? Anybody else? What's the goal? Why are you here?
To get a career.
To get a career. So, what'd you just say? To get a career, right? So why wouldn't you use career services? So, my friends up here, how many times do you suggest that they should be using career services during during the semester or during the academic year?
All the time. We have mandatory first-year meetings, and that's really to start beginning that conversation, that relationship. We have an open door policy. I have students that drop in on me probably at least once a week, if not more often. The more you engage with the people at Career Services and the more they know you, the more effective they're going to be in helping you and the more attention you're going to get, because you are here for a career, but you got to drive that. You got to own your own future. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure your communication pieces are effective, that you are prepared for all the interviews, that you're informed about what careers are out there. And we're here to help you. I mean, if you take advantage of those opportunities, you're going to be successful. Yeah.
Can undergrad come to the law career?
I wish you could. No, unfortunately. But I will tell you, and I was just telling Jenny, right, you know, this is kind of the ending of my career, if you will. I was a legal recruiter for over 23 years and then was in-house for a long time. And I took this job because my kids are about y'all's age. And I saw what their experience was in career services when they were in college, and I knew that I could do something different. You know, yes, I am at the law school, but you've got great career services here. And I think that it's so important, that education is so important and employment is so important, and you all need all the help you can get. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this.
So I guess on the other end, who can use your services so they know?
Law school students and
Okay.
alumni.
Okay.
But you can use the library, right?
Yeah, the library is open, except we're about to go into a closed period because during finals the library is closed to the public, which includes undergrad students. But yes, you can use the library.
Okay. Nobody else got no other question, right? Before I move on to the next one. All right. So I got some tips on here on why you should use career services, and that was one of them. Was that? Another one is professionals who are trained to assist students with career-related concerns. So these people are trained to help you. I know a lot of you guys come and ask for resume review, for me to review your resume. I'm just in the same boat as you are. I'm looking for a job too. Not like that. Duh. Not saying it like that, but what I'm saying is like you should go to the people that's experts in this and know what to actually look for. You know, when it comes to that, because it's things that they may not know that I don't have a clue on. You know, so I don't know if y'all want to hit on why they should come to you guys. You know,
I think that, you know, like what he was saying, you come here for a career. Yes, you are here to get an education, and that's important. But the other part is that you're trying to get a career, right? And nowadays, it's really hard. Well, it's not hard. It is hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard when you are graduating and applying for jobs that other people that are in the same boat as you are doing the same thing. And the one way you can stand out is if you start utilizing our services. And so that's what I am talking about our employer standpoint. So putting your face in front of those employers is very important, and following up with those employers. Just because, let's say you're a sophomore or a junior, you're not graduating yet, that's okay. Keep in touch with that employer. And don't ever think, you know, we have these what we call Who at Wednesdays. Oh, well, I don't want to work for that company. That company may have a position that you are not aware of, and it may not even matter. It's a good networking tool. You never know what they can bring. So it's very important that you start putting your face out there. Because what year are most of you?
Sophomore.
Yeah, so you guys seniors definitely should be using our services. So I know in February we have an internship fair coming up, and that's the 5th or the 6th of February. I cannot remember which date, but we have an internship fair coming up, and I know as seniors that internships aren't as important. However, they may have other positions available. You just never know. So always be in touch with our services. Know what's going on in our office, because the last thing that we want is for you to graduate and not have a job, or actually, you know, interviewing for jobs, or being, you know, somewhere on the cusp of getting a job. In a perfect world, we would love to see every student at least once a semester. I mean, I would love to see y'all once a month to make sure that you're on the right career path. But, you know, I know in a perfect world that's not going to happen. But we would love it so that by the time you are graduating, let's say you're graduating in December, you should already have been applying for jobs as of August, September. because they don't just come at your feet. You know, it happens. It takes a while to get callbacks. Students start to feel discouraged because they have not gotten any callbacks, and that's just part of life. But what I always say is the resume gets you the interview, and the interview gets you the job. You've got one shot to make it right, and that's what we're here to try to develop you and make sure everything you're ready to go, so that when you are applying for jobs, you do get an interview, and that interview does give you the job.
You know, the other thing I'll add to that is it's a small community,
Mm-hmm.
and people forget that. Whether it's, you know, the Atlanta community, the law community, whatever, it's a really small community. And I tell our students all the time, you know, talk to people. Tell them you're looking for a job. Don't be afraid of that. You would not believe how many times you'll, talking to your neighbor, you're out walking your dog or something, talking to your neighbor, telling them, yeah, I'm about to graduate, you know, I got this degree, I'm still looking for a job. Oh, you're looking for a job? Well, you know, my cousin's looking to hire someone, let me introduce you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have that initial interview. What you want to do right after that is send a thank you email. And if you interviewed with 4 or 5 people, send each of them a different email. Make sure you get their email address and tell them specific things that you appreciated in that interview process. You know, I really was interested to hear about this aspect of your career, or, you know, you mentioned that you and your family are going away for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a great trip. You know, something like that to show that you were paying attention and that you're on top of it. But this is a really, really small community, and I tell our students all the time, if you apply for a job and you don't get it, the most important question you can ask is, do you know anyone who's looking? Because generally people want to help other people, and you will not believe how often people will look at you and say, yeah, so-and-so, you know, down the street is looking. And then your next question is, can I use your name? Can I say, Lynn Knapp told me to reach out to you because I heard you were looking for, you know, someone like me. Use those, talk to people, use those connections. The other thing is, in addition to Handshake, we've got a different job database at the law school, but we look at Handshake too. Get on LinkedIn. Hopefully you guys have a presence on LinkedIn. We actually had a presentation 2 weeks ago by an external recruiter talking about how you post for jobs on LinkedIn and what she sees on her side from recruiting on LinkedIn. When I was in-house, I was director of HR for 5 privately held companies. I recruited more broadly than you could ever imagine, anything from administration to developers to office managers, I mean, everything. And I hired almost exclusively on LinkedIn. And I was looking for resumes and all of that kind of stuff. Guys, get on it. Be on Indeed. Look at all of those job databases, okay? You need to be proactive because you will not believe there are a lot of jobs out there. But you got to go for it.
How many LinkedIn profiles set up? Like, I mean, like, really set up, though. Like, you got your resume on there. Because it's a lot of functions that I know, new functions that you can do. And we even had somebody, Jeannie came over here and did LinkedIn.
And
how to navigate through it.
It's a learning software, guys. So whatever jobs you show intention to, they're going to push more jobs like that to you. So it's a great resource. And you want a lot of connections. Connect with people that you want to kind of be like and things like that. I mean, I've got thousands of connections at this point, but it's worthwhile.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback what she's saying, so the thank you emails, those are super important, very important. I'm hiring a staff member right now. We're trying to find a replacement, but I have been on so many interview committees, and we teach our students and everyone. The Career Center is we are the professional presence. We are trying to teach you guys how to be professionally sound. And so the people that are applying and getting interviews understand that. However, they're not sending thank you emails. That's a problem. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how important that is. So please always send a thank you email. I give this example. This happened one time. I was interviewing just for a student assistant position. And I had her come in. She actually researched what our office offered, and which is very rare for a student assistant position. And after she left, she came back because she had brought in thank you notes, left, addressed them, came back in, and gave it to every single person that was on her interview committee. I hired her right there on the spot. That's initiative. especially just for as a student assistant position, that's huge. So like she was saying, you need to research. So you may not find out their email right in the interview. Get on that company website, type in their names, find them. I know for Georgia State, there's a directory. You can type in the name, find their emails. And when you do send that email, everything needs to be spelled correctly.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how many mistakes are made with that. Their names, make sure you spell their names right, the body of the email, everything is correct. And then the other part is LinkedIn and Handshake. So Handshake is our lifeline. So we do everything through Handshake. So if you are trying to figure out what events we are doing, you need to go in Handshake. And all of that's our job database. I mean, everything's done through Handshake. And also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great recruiting tool as well. And then Indeed. But LinkedIn is really good because you guys can connect to people that you don't know. Let's say you're interested in marketing. Marketing is your field. And you may know Lynn, but you don't know Lynn's person. But guess what? You're connected with Lynn. So you can connect with that person, reach out to Jane Doe and say, hey Jane, I am, as you can see, I am connected through Lynn. I'm looking for this XYZ position that I see on your website, and just using your elevator pitch to introduce yourself, but using that connection. So LinkedIn is a great resource as well. So you had a question. You did earlier.
I was gonna ask a question about the LinkedIn. What would you say that we really need to put on there to get people to look at us, and also how active do we need to be for posting?
Depends on how badly you want to
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, if I were you, I'd be on LinkedIn every day. I mean,
doing what?
I'm sorry?
Doing what?
Looking for job postings, looking at the jobs that come up, looking at your connections. I'm a super user because of my background, so I know who's looked at my job at my page. So I get
but you can put it in private view, or
right.
You can do that. You can do that,
yeah,
but you want them to see.
I stay public.
You want to stay public.
But I get pushed all the time. These people are people you should connect with, all of that kind of thing. And the other thing that's really kind of cool that you can do on LinkedIn, and that you should do anytime you're networking, is be value add. So if I'm reading an article about women who lead here at Georgia State, and I know somebody who really is passionate, a business leader who's passionate in that regard, I'm going to send them that article and say, hey, so-and-so, I thought you'd want to know about this initiative going on at Georgia State. I'd love to introduce you to the stakeholders and see if there's some synergies that we can work out between you. I haven't asked for anything for myself. Okay, I'm being value add to the university and to an individual in the community who maybe is looking for a platform. Anytime you can make an introduction to someone, tell them about an initiative that's going on, share an article that's in their field or that might be interesting for them about a client prospect or something like that, do it. The other thing is LinkedIn's great for researching, y'all. And like she said, my students know that they have to research before they go in for any interview. They're going to be on that website. They're going to look at everybody's bio on the website. But I also always tell them to go on LinkedIn, because on a bio on a website, you're just going to see that time right then, that present. You're not going to see their resume. But if you go into LinkedIn, you can see the other places that they've been. And one of the things I love on resumes and on LinkedIn is personal interest or who you're following. Because you as an individual, you want to stand out and be different than the other applicants that are coming in. So we always tell our students, add something that's interesting about you as a person. What do you like to do for fun? Okay. I have a student who was binge watching Netflix. Okay. Put that on there. If I was doing mine now, mine used to be really boring, but if I did mine now, I would say that I barefoot water ski, because I actually do. And you know what? You guys would remember that about me. You'd be like, you remember that old lady who told you she could barefoot water ski? Man, that was interesting, And that's a great icebreaker for an interview. But then you can do the same thing on LinkedIn, where you see what they follow. They're a Falcons fan or a United fan, or they, do this or that. Those, they're involved in these charities. Those are all great insights that you can bring up in an interview, and it shows that you're paying attention, you're making some effort.
Another great thing that Career Services has to offer that can help you with your LinkedIn is the photo booth. I like the photo booth.
It's brand new.
Brand new. and it looked like a spaceship.
It does. And it's open, not 24/7, but 8:30 to 5:15. So no appointment is necessary for that.
Is there a charge for that?
No charge.
Okay.
So
No charge.
take advantage
Where
of
is
that.
it located?
It's located in Student Center West, room 270, on the same floor as the movie theater. All you have to do is get your Panther card, swipe in, go in and take it. It gives you 6 pictures. You can edit them yourselves. And when you're done, it immediately is sent to your email.
Anybody used it?
Good. Awesome.
Did you have a good experience with it? Yeah.
It's nice. Thank you for the addition. It's nice.
It is nice, isn't it?
And you can edit your photos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Can you only do it one time, or can you do it
You can do it multiple times. Yeah.
Well, what are you doing with the picture?
Put it up in LinkedIn. So there's a space for a picture there.
And you probably can use it for your passport photo too. Like, I ain't
I don't know,
saying
but you can't smile on that, y'all. There are all sorts of rules about your
Yeah.
passport picture, and you're not going to do the same picture for LinkedIn.
And a lot of our staff members use it for their picture on their email as well. But yeah, you can use it as many times, but it's a great resource. So please make sure you utilize that, okay? There should be no reason that you don't have a professional picture on your LinkedIn account, because we are located right here for you to use us.
the next tip that I have is this actually happened last week. Student was in my office. I said, hey, let's walk over to Ramona's office. Ramona works with employer relations, so
And
she-
University Career Services.
So she meets with a lot of employers outside of here. So an email got sent to me about somebody was looking for interns for Geico, and that got passed along. So professionals who work closely with the employers will someday hire you. They know these people. That's why I'm saying, that's why I'm encouraging you guys to go over there. I can let y'all kind of talk about the professionals as far as you guys meeting with them and knowing, building relationships as far as helping students.
I mean, I do that all day. In theory, my office hours are from 8:30 to 6, but I'd say most nights a week I'm out at events in the community. And it's on behalf, I'm wearing my Georgia State hat the whole time. My husband's an attorney. We go to bar events, state bar events, not bar events. And, I think most people think he works at Georgia State too at this point. Saturday, for example, somebody he knows was having a fundraiser. It was all lawyers, so I played cornhole for 6 hours on Saturday. Guess what? I'm not very good at cornhole. But did I work that crowd? You better believe it. Did I come away with some contacts for us? Yes, I did. And that is very intentional on my part. Okay? So it's part of my personal life and my professional life, but I do a lot of employer outreach. I also have a strategic plan in my department, and we have identified employers that we want to go after through to 2021, and a calendar to do that.
I don't know if you can speak on that part.
So I want to say this. So I am not under employee relations, but what I do know is that I have gotten to where I am today because I have done my networking. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for my current boss. She did not want to hire me. I was applying for an internship. She didn't want to hire me. She thought that I would not be able to handle the job, but I was very persistent. Persistent not to the point where I was stalker-ish, but persistent. I let her know that I can do the job. I reiterated everything. I followed up with her. I followed up with her at least once a week. And then eventually she caved. And ever since then, she has taken me everywhere she's gone. So at each college, I have come to work for her. So in recruiting, meeting contacts, networking, even when, I know this is so cliche, but even when you're in the elevator, you never know who you're going to run across, okay? I've had a student that I have been working with to try to tell her she needs to start networking, and she actually started talking to somebody in the elevator who ended up working for the NBA, and she made that contact. Had she not talked to that person in the elevator, she would have never known that that person would working for the NBA. So like she's saying, even when you're at events, you always want to network. And on the back end, you've got to think about what you're saying too. So your words, your actions, the way you carry yourself, people are watching you. So you want to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's as well.
Considering networking, I'm going to this law event this Saturday. This will be my first networking event that I'll be going to. So what should be my goal? Like, I don't know what to expect.
What's the structure of it?
It's going to be talking about intellectual property.
Okay. Oh, the one Mo's doing? Mo
Yes.
Ivory? Oh, she's so awesome. I love her. I was involved in her hiring. So that's interesting. So we've already had a couple of those at the law school. Depending on what kind of job you're looking for, if you can target specific employers, if there's that prospect, but otherwise, just meet as many people as possible and make a great positive impression on them. That's what I would do. And, if somebody gives you their card, follow up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Follow up. And make sure you have your elevator pitch ready to go.
And guys, we just did a whole thing in my 1L class about handshakes. I have a thing about that. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, after all the recruiting I've done and everything, there are good ways to shake hands and there are bad ways to shake hands. Do not ever do that. Do not do the limp fish. Do not break my hand. It's not a gas pump. Just get in there and quick shake, but make eye contact. That's huge. The body language is massive. Really, really pay attention to that, okay? And you can connect with people by making that kind of eye contact, okay?
What about business cards?
And make sure you're standing while you give the handshake. You're not sitting down.
Yeah, if somebody comes up and you're seated, you stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, show them that honor.
Yes.
Business cards are great.
Y'all got business cards? Anybody? Y'all?
Yay.
We can make them in here. Did y'all know that? We got
Is it
business
free?
card paper. Yeah, it's free.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll make them in here, though.
But here's the thing about business cards, guys, and handing them out, which I'm a fan of. I mean, I've only been at the law school. I'm just in my third year. I've probably already handed out like 4,000 business cards at this point, okay? If it has your cell phone number on it, which it probably does, take away that mechanical recording. I know your age group doesn't like that. You need to put a personalized message on there that is professional. If you are interviewing for jobs and you're expecting a call about setting up an interview or an offer, something like that, and you see a call come across your phone and you don't recognize the number and you're walking into class, do not take the call right then and say, yeah, okay? Take the call and you say, this is Lynn Knapp, hello? And then hopefully they're going to say, hey, we got your resume. This is so-and-so. We got your resume. We'd like to invite you in for an interview. If you do not have time to pay attention to that phone call right then, do not don't pick it up and don't take that phone call right then. Do not forget you got that phone call when you get out of class or off work or whatever you're doing. Pick that phone back up, listen to the message, pay attention to what they're saying, and call them back. Okay? But you need a professional voicemail on your cell phone. And on your resume, you need your address on your resume. I know a lot of people are not fans of that, and your email, obviously, because some places do still need that information, obviously, to employ you. But some of them do still send offer letters, not just via email. So you need that information. You want to make it so easy for them to hire you. Do also go ahead and think about your references. Sorry, I'm on a run here.
Good. Go ahead.
I just get caught up. But think about your references. You want 3 references. You want people who really know you. It can be a professor. It could be somebody you've worked for. It could be just anybody. But you're going to put their name, their title, their email, and their telephone number. If you worked one place with them and they've gone to another job or something, it's not obvious what the connection is. You can say formerly at Reynolds, whatever. Okay, but make sure you have that so that if you go through the interview process, things are moving quick, they want to make you an offer, you have that reference ready to supply and you're good to go.
Okay, next one is to help you figure out what you want to do with your life. How many undecided majors are in here? Everybody in here picked a major? Okay. May have picked a major, but it may be other options in career-wise for you. That's another good reason why you should use career services. They know about some of the new careers that's actually coming out here. Some stuff I've never heard of, but they know more about the careers that's trending in the field than a person like me.
And the other part of that is a lot of students may know what they want to major in, but they have not done any experience in that major or learned about what classes they're going to have to take when it gets to their upper level classes. You may be a finance major and you're going to have to take math classes, economics, all sorts of classes that you're going to take. What if you're not doing well in those classes? What if math is not your thing, not your strongest suit? That's okay. But these are things that you need to research and realize before you really commit to a major. You've learned about the field. And so that's what we're kind of here to help you with, is to learn about the field before you make that commitment.
That's a great point. My brother's a teacher, and he complains all the time. He's like, nobody told me that teachers don't make any money. Well, dummy, that's your job to ask.
Yeah.
Make sure you know what you're getting into. And the other thing is, even if you graduate with a degree, it doesn't mean you have to stay in that field. I was pre-med, and this could not be further from practicing medicine. So.
And yes, so let's say you choose biology. That does not mean you have to do biology. There are so many other options out there for you. That doesn't mean you have to do pre-med. And even if you do pre-med and you end up somewhere else, that's okay. My coworker, her major was teaching, and she's now working in the career counseling department. So nothing what her major is. So I don't want you to think that just because you chose a major and you graduated with this major does not mean that's what you're going to do the rest of your life. You can do other things as long as you build experience in it.
And you probably will, by the way.
Yeah.
And you should be fine with that.
Can I just want to share something with y'all. About 2 weeks ago, I was sharing this with them before we started, the different types of interviews. You have to be prepared for that, like the different types of interviews. I had an interview a couple weeks ago, behavioral-based interview questions. I trashed it. I'm being totally honest with you, because I thought, these are the type of questions. This is the way they're gonna ask these questions from me, and they reworded the whole process of how they asked me the questions. And I'm thinking, situation, task, action, results. I'm thinking in my head, like, that's easy to actually do. It's actually a lot harder than what I actually thought was. So the reason and importance of using career services is that you develop a habit of skills to learn how to do these things over a period of 4 years. You don't wait till senior year talking about, I'm finna get ready for interviewing. When you have 4 years to prepare yourself for the interviews, that was one of the things that I wasted time. And then you paying for it. That's the number one thing. You paying for this experience over there. And I say, go and use it. Like, I don't care how many times I got to go over there and ask questions about my resume. That's what they there for. So, that's one of the tips up here. Was one of the 6 tips was in the last tip was you paying for it. Use it while you here,
One of the other things I'd say is if your grades are not what you hope they would be, particularly if you're not a senior, but even if you are, talking about behavioral interviews, I tell our students, first semester of law school is tough. It's really tough. And everybody who gets in law school is smart. They deserve to be there, but some of them just come out of that first semester and their head is spinning because they've never had that kind of teaching experience. And I tell them a couple of things. First of all, grades don't define you. Your grades do not project how successful you're going to be, and I believe that to my core. Secondly, if you're not happy with your grades, and I don't care if you're a senior and you've got one more semester, what I'm looking for as an employer is when you face a difficulty, tell me what steps you've taken to address that. Tell me you've gone back and talked to your professors, you've met with a career advisor, you've reassessed your study habits, you're working on outlines earlier, whatever it is. Tell me what steps you've taken, and then start showing me how that is playing out for you and where that improvement is. Because you can apply those same kind of skills to any challenge in your life. I'm less excited about hiring somebody who's just sailed through life and killed it academically and always gotten every job they've wanted, because they're going to have a hard time at some point in their life and it's not going to work out well because they haven't built that resiliency. But I, as an employer, love resiliency, but you need prepared how to tell that story in a behavioral interview. What are challenges you've had? Tell me how you've overcome them. That's really important. And recognize if you're avoiding taking those steps and making those changes. And do something about it.
Really take it serious. I'm like, real serious. Like, don't wait till you graduate the month before to try to start picking up these skills, because I feel like you would become a lot more frustrated with yourself because you anxious to get a job, but then at the same time you ain't prepared for the job. So do this stuff now while you here, while you got access to it. And I'm pretty sure you got access to it after you graduate.
So that brings, yes. So for a year out, so let's say you graduate this December. So for that full year until next December, all of our services are free. After that, the only thing that changes is that you would have to pay for career counseling. So that means if you need help with, if you want to go into a different field, job search help, resume help, all of that, there's a fee. It's $75 for 6 sessions, but you have to use those 6 sessions within the year that you buy it. But all of our events are always free to you guys for life. So that means all of our career fairs, all of our employers that come on to recruit you guys, any event is free of service.
The alumni relations little events be nice too. I went to one of them. They give you some free food, free drinks, all right? But you meet a lot of good people there. I met some good people. I think the last one was at 6 Below. That stuff come to your spam, so you need to check your spam mail, a lot of times too.
The other thing I'd add is when people advertise the openings, they're always going to put down their ideal candidate. So let's say I'm looking for someone with 3 years of experience. I'm going to put 2 to 4 years. If you only have a year or you have 0 years of experience, but you want that field, go ahead and apply, because I will look at your resume if you're below or if you're above that. I'm putting down my ideal candidate. I know that there's not going to be anyone out there who's going to have everything I'm looking for, but if you've got a lot of what I'm looking for, I'll bring you in and I'll talk to you, and if you do well in your interview, you're a good step in. So keep that in mind. The worst thing you can do, y'all, is not get a rejection letter. The worst thing you can do is opt out and not apply. That's not going to kill you.
So that wraps up the end. Do we have any questions? No, we got some questions.
What are the things that you don't say within the interview, like a question that you don't ask? Because one time I did ask Roy, he said, you don't ever ask, how much am I getting paid? Is there any more?
Oh, you asked the employer how much they were getting paid? Or
I was just saying, is that acceptable when he said no?
No, that's what Glassdoor's for.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Don't ask that question. I will say the other thing is that you should never not ask a question. Okay, so when the interviewer says, do you have any questions for me? Please never say no.
Yeah. Please,
I beg you. You always have to ask a question. Okay? Otherwise, doesn't seem that you're interested in the job. I'm kind of thinking of other questions.
You can take notes while you're in the interview. Yeah. You can ask, what does success look like in this position? What advice would you have someone who is just beginning this career? Tell me about your process. How did you end up in this position? People love to talk about themselves. That's like an easy, but stay in context. I really hate it when I'm interviewing someone and they've got like this list of questions that they have like a checklist, and I can tell they're not really listening to me. And they ask this question has nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Yeah, because you asked me about salary. Like, man, how much I'm going to be? I need to ask about the salary. And I know I in my past, I've heard a lot about helicopter parents. I don't know if y'all know what helicopter parents is. It's even some people's parents is going to the interview with them negotiating the salaries. And I'm like, what? Like, where they doing that at? But to answer your question, I've never asked about salary because it make me just feel like that's all you care about is the money. You know?
We tell our students they don't negotiate their first salary. They're happy to get a job, okay, and get some experience, and you get in and make yourself, so valuable. You can talk about benefits. You can talk about parking. You can talk about all sorts of things that complete your entire package. And people have got to remember that base salary is just part of your salary. It's not the full salary, but you don't want to make it about salary. I mean, money's important. I'm not saying that, but you want that experience.
You need experience first.
Yeah, how many entry-level jobs actually do negotiate on salary? I mean, I know when I came here, entry-level, that's what
my first job. My first job, I was making $14,000 a year my first job.
My first job was $28,000 a year.
That's good.
And mine was about 25.
Mm-hmm.
So you gonna
Yeah.
take what they
Give
throwing
you.
out there.
Yes.
It's hard out here.
Yes.
So when do you start negotiating pay? Because like, what if you know the job because of some other type of connect, like that person that may have just started, and they making significantly more than you? When do you start talking about, the pay? Like, money got to come up eventually.
Are they the same as you? Do they have the same experience? The same?
Yeah, like
Everything's the same,
just
and they're
fresh
making
in
more
it.
than you. That's a bigger question. And as a general rule, I don't think it's a really great idea to talk about salaries with your coworkers.
Mhm.
That can lead to some real good misinformation out there.
Yeah. But when you can talk about salary is if you're offered the position and you can ask the question, is this salary negotiable? And if they say no, then you just leave it there. Okay? But as an entry level position, what she's saying is just take the position.
If it's the one you want.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it okay to ask about benefits?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely ask about
Oh, yeah.
benefits. And hopefully they'll give you an entire package of benefits. You want those. Because that's like another 20, 30, maybe 1,000 more on top of your package.
I have a question. Do you guys offer any information on trying to improve your networking skills and building relationships? Do you offer any help with that?
Oh yeah, we do workshops, we do events. You need to get on Handshake and look at all the events that we offer. Yes, we definitely talk about that. Our events have come to an end this semester, but starting back up in January, look into it because we do offer that.
I'm helping planning for the spring semester, so I've been asking other departments for their schedule for next semester, and some of those workshops will actually be signed up with them, like career services. If they got an event, we sending you to their event to actually learn from what they're doing. Any other?
Do you do you have any film events for people in film majors or in the media majors? Because I have gone for a career workshop event a couple in the past, and most of them were more focused for the STEM, and there wasn't much more for the arts. So that kind of turned me off, and I was like, no.
We do have panels for the arts students, so we do have that. So if you would, I can give you my contact information and tell you when that comes up. But we do stuff like that, definitely. Didn't you have a question?
Yes. It's kind of similar to her question. So, what would you say to someone that feels like the career services doesn't have much to offer them because of their field that they're going into, like education or music education, things like that? Because it seems like everything is more towards
STEM.
Fortune 500 companies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like internships and things like that. I don't really get from my field.
So are you in the education field?
Music education.
Music education. So education is a different beast. But there is an education fair coming up on January 31st. I don't know if you know about that. Okay, so there is one coming up. I know that the education department is going to put that on. So I'll say this. We help all students. However, when it comes to education, law, and business, it's kind of, they have their own departments, they have their own fairs, they have their own contacts. So it would probably behoove you to reach out to the education department. We're here to, of course, help you with your resume, know that we have all these events available to you. But if you are in education, I would more so recommend you reaching out to your education department, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
I know you guys talked about elevator talk. So what are some key things that would help make that short interaction, stick? Some do's or don'ts type of things, right? For that.
I can tell you a don't is to not say personal information. So when they say, tell me about yourself, which is your elevator pitch, you don't say, well, I'm married or I'm divorced, my cat ran away yesterday. So these are all things that you don't do. But an elevator pitch, you're telling them who you are. Where do you see yourself down the line? You don't want to say, well, I want your position, you know. That's not what you want. I've had that happen before. So you're giving your professional, the details of your professional life. Like, where do you aspire to be? What made you interested in this position? What's your major? That would be your elevator pitch. And you don't want it to be long. You want it to be short and concise. But that's what I would recommend for an elevator pitch. I don't know if you have anything to add, Lynn.
What I would say is, I'm going to make you up, okay? So, my name is John Smith. I am a sophomore at Georgia State University. I am currently studying economics. I spent last summer working for so-and-so, and I'm actively looking for a position for this summer. It's easy. And then stay in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually a student who thought you had to be riding on an elevator to do an elevator pitch and was really concerned if it was just a 3-story building.
That's funny.
So we had to talk about that for a little bit.
And I have a lot of students that think there's a difference between the elevator pitch and tell me about yourself question. That is the same thing.
That is.
And every employer is going to say that to you. Tell me about yourself.
Okay.
What do you know about us? And tell me about yourself.
Anything else?
Also, just about elevator pitches, can I just drop in?
So what you would need to do is, for an elevator pitch, you could drop in. You could drop in. We have, so let me just say this. We have drop-in hours, Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. And you can bring your resume and cover letter in. But also, we have staff members on hand to help you with choosing a major, job search. But if you needed help with your elevator pitch, that could be, you could do that.
Okay.
Plus, there's lots of stuff if you Google it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. You could Google it too. But don't ever Google a resume, okay? Don't Google the resume templates. I will say that.
Do you guys have those posted up?
We have a website, a software called Optimal Resume with 63 Georgia State resume samples. So for like every major.
What's the name of it again?
Optimal Resume.
Yeah, I was thinking y'all might want that information.
Optimal Resume.
Yes.
I use the word.
Yeah, so Optimal Resume, but do know this. If you already have a resume, you cannot upload it into the system. You have to start from scratch. But it has a template that you can utilize. It has all the action verbs that you can use. We have lists of action verbs that you can choose. And then we have the samples. So if anything, you can use it for the samples. And we have a cover letter sample in there as well.
So I keep hearing mixed opinions about resumes in regards to having your picture on it. Some people say put a picture on it, and some people say don't. What would you guys say?
Sorry. So there have been students that put their picture on a resume. I always say do not. I say do not because I don't want to create any bias along the lines. I don't want them to see what you look like. I mean, they probably are more likely going to Google you anyways, which that's another thing to make sure that you
Clean up your social media.
clean up everything.
Please. No solo cups, no party pics.
Yeah,
no
don't taking shots.
Clean it up.
Don't wear.
Take it off now.
Yeah, don't be wearing, your skin show and everything, Yeah, so that's another part. But, so I always say don't put your picture on your resume.
That's a hard no in law.
Yeah.
You will get just dropped.
Yeah.
That's what LinkedIn for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do clean up your social media, y'all. I really cannot reiterate that enough.
Because they'll Google you. They'll look you up. They'll see what you...
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that all, folks? That is all, folks. So I'm going to give you a couple things to take away. The University Career Services is located Student Center West 270. The Law Library, you know where the law school is located, correct? Down the street from 5525 Park Place, y'all know where the Advisement Center is. If you keep walking straight like you're walking towards the Peachtree Center, that's where the Law Library is located, okay? Undergrads cannot use the law library during the dead period. I guess that's finals period.
Yep.
All right. Another great thing was grades don't define you. All right. So if you're going to grad school or whatever you plan to do, keep pushing. All right. References, name, 3 references. Name, title, email, phone number. And make sure you update your what? Phone number, not phone number. Phone message. Your voice greeting. That's
And
what
guys,
you said.
if with references, make sure they know that they're going to get a call,
Yes.
please.
Yeah. Give them a heads up. And if you don't have any references, make sure you're building those. You need
Yeah.
to start building them. You need 3 references, 3 of them, okay? When you apply for jobs.
3.
Yeah.
And that is today's podcast, the TRiO Talks podcast on the value of career services. Be sure to tune in for this version on YouTube. All right? GA State SSS. That's how you guys can follow us. Make sure you follow us on there as well. We on Instagram as well. GA State SSS. Thank you guys for attending. We got some fruit and some snacks back here. Make sure you fill out the survey. We want to thank our special guests. Let's give them a round of applause and tell them thank you. Make sure you make connections with these beautiful ladies up here, okay? Thank you.